I want to go to the announcement of the ombudsman, the current ombudsman, yesterday that they are releasing the decision of the former ombudsman on the reversal of the dismissal order of Senator Joel Villanueva relating to the PDAF. Unang-una, bakit nagkaroon ng ganyan na parang may secret decision? Lahat ba ng dapat na desisyon ng ombudsman isinasa publiko? Why are we having this whole debate about what's made public and what's not?
Right. I think so. If you look at the law, there really is nothing that requires the ombudsman, diba, to publish his decisions and his reversal of his decisions. But I think what advocates have been saying, what the academics have been saying, is that just because the law doesn't require doesn't mean that the ombudsman isn't bound by tenets of accountability. Part of the reason why the last ombudsman in particular, did not release these decisions, I think, and based also on his previous statements, is that you also want to protect the dignity of the public officer, so to speak. Na hindi naman siya parang publicly tried. But with all due respect, public officers, especially high public officers, take that as a risk when they accept public office, whether if they run for it or they accept an appointment, a high appointment. So if we are to be faithful,
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. If we were to be faithful to the ombudsman, to the ombudsman's role as a watchman of the people, na tanod bayan, then it actually helps to declare these or to post all of the decisions and resolutions of the ombudsman. It's a good step, and it furthers public trust in that very important office.
That was actually one of the things that was baffling about the statement of the former ombudsman na hindi naman daw secret decision, but it's supposedly to protect his dignity, which is parang dapat mas lalo pa niyang nirelease yung dismissal order na yun, no? Kasi hindi ba dahil doon niya sinabi that there was no adequate evidence on record that Senator Joel Villanueva was actually involved in the embezzlement of 9.7 million in his PDAF. So parang it ran contrary to the decision, hindi ba?
Yeah, and if you look at, and we're starting to find out more information from this case, just with that single disclosure of the ombudsman, we know now that there were actually two cases filed. One was an administrative case, one was a criminal case. But the content of the reversal itself said na walang forgery according to the ombudsman's more recent findings. So it actually helps the public officer to be exonerated in that way. Kaya hindi din, for me, it's very hard to reconcile the ombudsman's function with the exoneration of Senator Villanueva and the conduct of hiding the decision from the public. Maybe it's para hindi na pag-usapan, no? But sometimes these public conversations actually help public officers, especially those who perform their job well, no? And who have a commitment to public service.
Going to that 2019 dismissal or reversal of the dismissal order, Ombudsman Samuel Martinez said there was cogent basis to grant the motion for reconsideration filed by Villanueva, contesting the earlier findings by former Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Pwede ba yun na sabihin lang niya na the signature was forged?
Well, technically, he can. The grounds for a motion for reconsideration, I think even before the ombudsman, would often be errors of fact and errors of law. So, if in the opinion of the graft investigator, the original decision, which found liability for Senator Villanueva, was premised on a misappreciation of the evidence that was presented before the ombudsman initially, then it's within the power of the ombudsman to reverse it. And that's okay, right? I mean, just because a public officer is accused or is charged with a graft offense doesn't mean that that offense is necessarily true. It's possible that the officer has defenses. It's possible that he has evidence that the public hasn't seen or that the media hasn't reported. And the system precisely exists to allow that public officer to clear his or her name. So that's entirely possible. Pero yun nga, no, if that reversal actually results in clearing the public officer, why not disclose? Why not share it with everyone? It also is a good guide for the media in the future, for the public in the future, to consider what would be, the possible reasons why the initial report might not be correct, if it were indeed not correct.
Of course, these are decisions back in 2016 and 2019, and we're now in 2025. One would wonder, why is this issue being brought up? Is it possible for the current ombudsman to reverse the reversal of the dismissal order? Kumbaga, baliktarin itong lahat, buklatin muli, at i-pursue yung kaso to see if to see if there's merit in that finding that the signature was forged. Posible ba yun? And at what point does it become double jeopardy?
Okay. With the caveat now that I haven't seen the full record, I only have the decisions of orders of the ombudsman reversing the 2016 decision. You have to look at the two reversals separately. On the administrative case, I think there's a case to be made that because we have this principle of administrative res judicata, tapos na yung issue na yon on the administrative side, right? The period has lapsed, the time has lapsed, and therefore, if the ombudsman found finally na Senator Villanueva is innocent of the charges against him, then the ombudsman can't reopen that side of the case anymore, yung on the administrative liability side. But the criminal side is different. Criminal cases, after they are investigated, they don't go through or they are not subject to that rule of administrative res judicata. And what the applicable rule is double jeopardy. Now, on that part, double jeopardy only bites or only kicks in when the case is already with the court. And because the dismissal here was in the stage of the ombudsman, at the preliminary investigation stage, wala pa siya sa court, hindi pa siya umakyat sa Sandigan Bayan.
So pwede pa.
So technically, it is within the power of the ombudsman to reopen that case and see, was there a misappreciation of the evidence that were brought by the parties? Are there new evidence that would actually point to criminal liability? But as a larger comment on how these things go, no, when an investigator reopens a criminal prosecution, one that hasn't been filed with the court yet, it requires a certain amount of evidence per experience na meron ba talagang evidence na bago or meron ba talagang serious misreading? Were there allegations of misdeeds in the initial investigation of the ombudsman or the investigation during the reversal? So, kailangan ma-justify yun by that. Otherwise, the ombudsman would be using its resources to open a case that would not be viable anyway. So, it requires also some judgment and discretion on the part of the current ombudsman.